A Mountain of Blintzes by Barbara Diamond Golden and illustrated by Anik McGrory. All year long, Sarah and Max worked hard. They fed the chickens, chopped the wood, planted the fields, and took in boarders to earn some extra money. Their children helped too, but no matter what, Sarah and Max never seemed to have enough. It was Mo, Sarah's oldest, who reminded her when Shavuot was but 2 weeks away. He was learning about it in Hebrew school. Such an important holiday, said Sarah. When Moshe went to the top of the mountain to meet Hashem and receive the laws. Such a meeting. Can you imagine? What a celebration we could have. What a mountain of blintzes I could make. If only there was a little extra space. Sarah could just picture a big plate of stuffed pancakes. I'll have to come up with a plan, she said. Early the next day, Sarah thought of it. Maxie, she called, I've been thinking about blintzes. You make the best, he said wistfully. Not without buying the ingredients, Sarah said. Then she turned her purse upside down and shook it. Not a penny fell out. But don't worry, I have a plan. You and I will do extra work. Extra? Who has time for extra? Max repeated. It's only for 2 weeks, said Sarah. Mr. Epstein needs help building those new bungalows, and Mrs. Grossinger wants help with the washing. We'll put out earnings in the coin box every day, Sarah continued, and soon we'll have enough for blintzes. You agree? Max shrugged. Did he really have a choice? The Torah is sweet. The blintzes are sweet, Sarah sang that afternoon as she washed Mrs. Grossinger's sheets. She winked at Nady. We have some blintzes to make, and soon. Blintzes, blintzes, a mountain of blintzes, Nady chanted. Ah, what a boy. You remember, a mountain of blintzes, to make us think of the mountain Hashem climbed. Up and down he went to bring us the Torah, the laws. Sarah looked around. So, new Natty, where are the others? They should be home from school by now. Mo, Mo, Sarah shouted into the yard and all the way to the woods. Come help hang the laundry, Mo. There was no answer. Bessie, she called. Francie, Harry, where are you? Still no answer. Nu, where is everyone? Just when I need help, the children disappear. Later, after Sarah had collected her coins from Mrs. Grossinger, she stood all alone in the kitchen. Mo had finally come home and was doing his chores, with Nady tagging along. Who knew where the others were? If they aren't home soon, they'll be doing their chores in the dark, Sarah grumbled. Sarah was just about to drop her coin in the box when a brilliant idea hit her. With Max putting his money in the box, there will certainly be enough for blintzes, she thought. He has more to spare than I do. I have to buy so many other things. There's candles for the holiday and material to make the children new summer clothes. So Sarah, very pleased with herself, put her coins into her purse instead. Max was heading home from Mr. Epstein's. The coins he had earned painting the bungalows jingled in his pocket. He waved to Mrs. Katz, who was taking the cakes out of her bakery windows. Then he stopped in Mr. Fitzgerald's grocery to ask if he needed any more eggs to sell. Up the hill and down the road, past the dairy and the Friedman's house, and Max was home. Max waved to Sarah, who was outside helping Mo stack wood for the stove. "What a wise wife I have," he said to himself as he went inside to put his coins into the box. Max could almost smell those tasty blintzes, but he hesitated for a minute and was struck by an idea, such as a genius might have. With Sarah putting her coins, we will surely have enough for the blintzes, he thought. Sarah has much more to spare than I do. I have to buy wine for the holiday and all the children new shoes. So Max, very pleased with himself, put his coins back into his pocket and went outside to help stack wood. Every day, the same thing happened. Sarah stood by the box, ready to drop her coins into the slot. But then she thought of all the things she needed. She thought of Max dropping his coins in. And each day she put her coins into her purse instead. Every day, when Max stood by the box, he thought of all the things he needed to buy. He imagined Sarah putting her coins in. And each day he dropped his coins back into his pocket. After supper one day, Sarah made the announcement. It's time to open the coin box. Mo, Bessie, Francie, Harry, Natty, and Max ran over to the counter where the box stood. Max had a dreamy look, as if when Sarah opened the box, a mountain of blintzes would cascade out, already cooked and sprinkled with sugar, ready to eat. Never had the house been so quiet. Sarah reached into her pocket for the key. Then she opened the lid and gasped. Max looked in and gasped too. How could it be? Uh-oh. Not a penny, said Mo. You didn't put any of your coins, Sarah said, turning to Max. Not even one. And where are your coins? Max replied. Even one. I needed them. I thought that with your coins we would have enough for blintzes. And I needed mine, said Max. I thought that with your coins we would have enough. Mo coughed. Harry shuffled his feet. Bessie and Francie giggled. Giggles? Said Max sternly. This is not a time for giggling. They're up to something, said Sarah. You remember how we've been so late coming home after school? Asked Bessie. I remember, said Sarah. While Papa and I were doing extra, we were doing extra too, said Harry. I helped Mr. Fitzgerald in his grocery for a sack of sugar, said Francie. Mrs. Katz gave me a bag of her very best flour for sweeping her bakery, said Bessie. I promised to pick berries for Mrs. Friedman this summer, added Harry, and she gave me 3 jars of her jam. And I worked for Mr. Townsend's dairy, and he's going to give me all the cottage cheese and sour cream we need. Sarah clapped. Then we'll have our blintzes after all. See what smart children we have, Max. Just like their parents, Max beamed. Natty help, said Natty. You'll help us make and eat the blintzes, said Sarah, and gave him a hug. When Shavuot came, they had a mountain of blintzes with a mountain of other good things. Candles and wine, not to mention new clothes and shoes for the children. And Natty helped, spreading jam on all the blintzes and on his fingers and face, too. The end.